trash out here, I'm in trouble. I must collect revenue to maintain those same houses. So after this process, which followed all the, and my director will explain the CCDC, all the procedures, default rates have gone down. We are very states with zero default now. Revenue in this sector has gone up by 250%. Those houses don't belong to any individual or to me either. They belong to not the tenants, but to 7 million Nairobians. There is somebody who is struggling and diligent enough to pay rent of 2,000 in a slum. He would be happy to come and pay 9,000 in a two-bedroom house. But when you deny us that rent and use politics, because many times it's political. So whether it is the MCAs or MPs say, no, at Wangu was it etc., I think it is not the right thing. On the matter of the people who were involved, yeah, first of all, I do not, I don't know how you can name somebody as a goon or not. You know, I don't know. Is it how they look? Debt collection is never a walk in the park. I've never seen friendly auctioneers. But when human rights have been violated on behalf of the county, I apologize. It is not right. But remember also, by not paying, you're violating the rights of other citizens to get services. So, Chair, I formed a committee, you know, and Chair, you know, I have many staff. I have 19,000 staff of different shades. I am one person. Some may go overboard, which is not right. Of course, the buck stops with me, but 19,000 people, you can imagine. They know what our aim is. Chair, you know what the county has been struggling with. When I got it, my revenue was at 8-9 billion. I've raised it by more than 50% to 14 billion because I need to serve you people, yourselves included. Chair, if the, you know, sorry, when I formed that committee, they went and did a reconciliation together with the MCA and Chegemora was there. There are those who they said, okay, Governor, here we cannot. If it's 900,000, in fact, I said anybody above 150,000, even if you give them a payment plan, they will not pay. But those, many of them have agreed on a payment plan. They have come, they pay slowly. We accept. It is not our aim. Those houses are not for profit. Imagine a house in Woodley, 3 bedrooms on half an acre, 17,000 shillings rent, half an acre property. If it was a market value, it would be 250,000 rent. But you find somebody, 17,000 per month on a 3 bedroom, has put an extension where he has tenants paying him 50,000 and has not paid us for 10 years. Should we smile with them? What do we do? I'll wait for the guidance of the committee. But the procedures were followed, and the response is here. This revenue is coming in to help you yourselves. If you look at the rents, we charge people 5,000 for 3 bedrooms. The estates where it's 10,000 for a mansionette. A mansionette in 2026, 10,000 in Burubu. That's why I put it under social services. It's really a social service. It is not for profit. But people must pay their rent. And if you're not able to pay your rent, you come up with a payment plan. If you're not able to do that, you must leave that house. That house does not belong to you. It doesn't belong to me. It is for the people of Nairobi. Somebody who is deserving can come in there and pay rent. So that I put medicine in hospitals, or at least now we have FIF. But I can use it to clean the city, to do roads. It is the same people who cry about the potholes. So you can't have your cake and eat it, Chair, unfortunately. On behalf of the county, for those whose rights are violated, I apologize. Because it is the last resort. We do not want to use force against our people. Those are not only my voters, they are my neighbors. I grew up in Ngara, you know. I have relatives, even I can list here, who have been evicted. Because those are my relatives who not pay rent. I have relatives of former prominent people I will not name, who used to live in these estates. Yeah? From Jerusalem to Ziwani, you know, all of these freedom fighters. I pay rent for them, I help them myself because of the legacy. Tomboya's house is still there. Jaramogi's house is still there. You know, Tujasio's house is still there. But you can only do so much there. So my appeal is let's all do our part. You know, you cannot demand services, you cannot demand, you know, to be provided for, you know, all of these things, and yet still without paying. Chair, at some point there had been a waiver that was issued by the former governor, but it was issued unprocedurally. After this committee, I even accepted that waiver. I said it's okay, let's say that waiver was there. Then what is the default after the waiver? But going months and years without paying rent, I don't know how you guide the chair or how to do it. So the response is here. I have listed The example for Old Ngara, which is just one, I have more than how many estates? 34, 34 estates. Yeah, so this is just an example. The top arrears, number 13, is 1.4 million. 11 tenants were evicted on the 14th of May. The court order came on the 30th of May. So it was functus official. The eviction had already been done. Impounded items were ferried to the Goreti Pound, a facility run by the county. Tenants who cleared their rent arrears were given their property to be able to claim them. So the question of compensation does not arise. If anything, we should auction that property to get our rent. If anything, but also we must be kind people. You know, there's a lady I will tell you, the family of let me not say because of privacy. In Jamhuri Estate, who looking at a situation, we just opted to help her relocate to the village and paid for her, got a transport to go back because she cannot afford to stay in the city with that rent. Even if you clear the arrears, it will be another arrears in 12 months. There are many specific cases I have personally intervened, and as I've said, I pay rent for some of these people. Chair, the evicted tenants were allowed to clear outstanding arrears before further action was taken, and it is not the first time. No one can say they don't know the arrears. The message, the monthly invoice comes to their phones, isn't it? On SMS. Everyone in our record. But the people on our record are the tenants, the tenant on file. Not just that you're staying there, but you're the person in our record. Chair, I think maybe I can leave it at that for any questions. At a meeting in 2nd December, Chair, it was resolved that we enter into more plans with defaulters owing less than 100K. And those above 100K were again eligible for eviction, not 150 actually, it's 100,000. Also, kindly note, Chair, kindly note, I think this is an important point. Whereas rent defaulters complain about evictions, there is a group of tenants who are compliant, who pay rent on time. We must have equity and fairness. The person who is paying rent is disenfranchised, but that was not paying. We have to maintain those houses. We need to paint the place. We need to make sure there are facilities for them. We need to make sure water is there. So also look at the other side of it. One person is working hard, struggling to pay. The rest says, you are Tanana, can always find a kid. Let me stay there for 5 years, 10 years without paying. Justice goes both ways, Chair. And so I'll leave it at that. There's some 4 active pending court cases. There's a case, Republic versus Chief Officer and others ex parte, Elijah Atembe, I think it's the same one, Atembe. There's Chege Maura and 2 others versus Nairobi City County. And then there's East ELC E040 of 2025. So those are still going on. Chair, let me leave it at that.
Thank you. Before I ask a question, I will give Senator Kathy a chance and the members a chance.